Well, are we finally on the verge of seeing history being made? Are we finally on the verge of seeing this law, Section 377, that criminalizes homosexuality being thrown into the dustbin? Well, we certainly hope so. The Supreme Court has begun crucial hearings on this very matter today, and we're going to take you through what happened in court. Among other things, Judge Indu Malhotra had said today that the Irish Prime Minister is supposed to be gay and the Iceland Prime Minister a lesbian. One of the lawyers in the case, Arvind Datar, said that yes, I think this Irish PM is in fact partly Indian, to which Judge Rohinton Nariman, who's also on the bed, said yes, a Maharashtrian. The court then erupted in laughter.
Former IITians fighting to get homosexuality decriminalized in India. A 5-judge constitution bench headed by the CJI began its hearing today on the validity of Section 377 of the IPC, which makes gay sex an offence punishable up to life. Former Attorney General Mukul Rohatgi, arguing for one of the petitioners, told the court, this is not a matter of choice and it has something to do with genes. The top court, making privacy a fundamental right, automatically invalidates 377. The Supreme Court must protect the rights of sexual minorities. It is part of natural orientation of a man. How can it be a crime? Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, who is part of the 5-judge constitution bench hearing the case, observed, in the Hadia judgment, we recognize the right to choose a partner to come under Article 21. So a partner can also be a same-sex partner.
We're getting really positive vibes from the court. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud also made a statement about just an observation about how this should be interpreted.
The centre is yet to take a stand in the court and wanted the hearing to be adjourned, but it was rejected by the court.
Further arguments will resume tomorrow. The top court will decide whether the right to sexual freedom will come under the right to privacy, which has been declared as a fundamental right by the top court. In New Delhi, Arunachalam Vaidyanathan, NDTV.
Well, the Attorney General, in fact, has indicated that the government is likely to oppose the scrapping of 377, which means that it would want homosexuality to remain a criminal offence. Let's listen in.
I had appeared in the petition for curative. Now, I am told that the government stand is different. Therefore, I am not appearing in that case at all. I can't appear because I have taken a different stand.
In fact, what he's referring to is the fact that he had appeared for the petitioners earlier in this case, and now he cannot appear for the government as a result of that conflict, but that the government may actually end up taking an opposing view. In other words, they will support keeping Section 377 on. If that does happen, it would be quite something, and I think for many people it would be quite sad, actually. Anurag Kalia is one of the petitioners in the case, a former IIT, and he joins us here in the studio. Balachandran Ramaiah is also a petitioner in this case, both of them formerly with the IIT. Father Stanley of the Archdiocese of Delhi is with us. Harish Iyer, equal rights activist, joining us tonight from Mumbai. Mr. Ramaiah, let me ask you first. How does it feel that we finally come to this point, firstly, where this is going to be decided once and for all? It's been such a seesaw battle. Everyone's been fighting, because this is not just about gay rights. This is about fundamental rights. This is, just basic fundamental rights. And today you're at that cusp.
Absolutely. I think it's been a very long wait. I think at least from the 2009 High Court judgment, I think a lot of focus and attention has been on this case. So it's been 10 years now. So we as the petitioners are very excited that finally the Supreme Court is very eager to listen to the case, and we have made very strong arguments about removing 377 and how it violates a lot of our fundamental rights, our life, right to liberty and right to live life with dignity and so on. So it looks like we have a very strong case, and we just have to see how the court hears it.
Harish Iyer, let me ask you, the news that the government could then possibly, support 377 and oppose its scrapping. When you hear that, I'm sure it must be a great disappointment.
It is a great disappointment, but we can't. But what did we expect from the government? I mean, were we expecting that they would come out and say that we are supporting LGBT rights? So we didn't expect anything else. But despite what the government thinks, it is the judiciary which is going to decide at this moment, and the judiciary is on our side, because we have had a very progressive privacy judgment which spoke about section 377 as well, that the Kaushal judgment was flawed. So the judiciary is on our side, and I'm sure that section 377, the reading down of section 377 is what I'm seeking in my impleadment application. So I think that section 377 would be read down, and sex between adults in private would be made legal.
It's actually unbelievable to say that out loud, because when you do say it out loud, you realize how absurd our laws have been. And Anurag, you're one of the young petitioners in this case, and you wrote a very nice piece today on our website ndtv.com about how you realized you were gay and why you're fighting 377. Tell us a little bit about that. You were what, 18, 19 years old when you finally sort of told the world that this is me?
So basically what really happened is that I was in school when I realized like I must be a 7th or 8th class. We still did not have Google or internet back then, but I realized I was attracted to men. I did not have a word for it. When I got internet, I decided, okay, I googled like what I was feeling, and I thought, okay, this is it. Then Wikipedia happens and all of this happens.
So the Google does have a solution for everything.
Google seems to have it, but it really does not, right? Because you are lonely. You do not know who else is gay. So even at that young age, my family was good enough to give me confidence that they will not leave me. But I did not have the confidence that I'll not be alone. I had kind of prepared myself to be alone, but it just so happens that I went into the world and realized there are more people like me. It's okay to be what you are, and those things kind of moved forward.
So when you first heard about 377, that must have come as a shock. What spurred you to then really fight this the way that you have?
So basically, I was really still getting into the groove of like who I was. 2009 was what 9 or 10 years ago. I was 14 or 15. So I was not really in a position to actually even do anything about it. I was simply the observer. But the 2009 judgment was very good. After that, what happened is basically I was reacting to things. After I graduated college, I realized that it cannot be. Like, we are the participants of democracy and we have to fight for ourselves. So it is not really like I went to activist mode. I basically joined my college and joined this group. I did not start it. I joined this group, Pravritti, which is a pan-IT LGBT group, and they made me feel at ease. I was okay with me being gay, but to even say things out loud, discuss your problems, discuss your anything is very important. And then you
have a law that criminalizes it, which is what is astounding. And before I come to Father Stanley on that, Anand Grover, when when you heard today, and I don't know if you heard what the Attorney General said, the possibility that the government is going to oppose the scrapping of 377, does that come as a surprise to you?
Well, not to me, because I know I've talked to the Attorney General, but there are more, I think I should tell you that the victory in this case for people who are fighting for the deletion or the striking down or reading down of 377 is a foregone conclusion. And I mentioned even on Saturday when we had a meeting on 377 with the community that because of the privacy judgment, there's very little that has to be done. So this is the last push. Basically, the court is going to hear just short arguments tomorrow, and then the government may or may not take the decision, and they are bound by the privacy decision, and they just want to know whether anybody has to say anything on whether Kaushal was correct or not. And of course, we have always argued that Kaushal was incorrect, and that has been upheld in the privacy judgment. We have to supplement that apart from the privacy issues on equality, discrimination, etc. So for us now as lawyers, we know the result, the likely result. I mean, you can never be 100% sure, but this is as close as you can ever get. So as I said earlier, it's a foregone conclusion. It's the question of time, and the time is, I will tell you, it's before September end, because the Learned Chief Justice retires on the 3rd of October. So
well,
I don't have any
hope you're
doubt
right.
in my mind.
I hope
so
you're
we just
right.
have to wait for the...
Yeah. So Father Stanley, I know,
I know I'm going to be
religious groups...
Can I go...
Sure, Mr. Grover, just give me a second. Father Stanley, I know that religious groups over the years have, have very strong views about homosexuality, and that apart, of course, you have a right, to your views on what you feel about that. But do you also feel that the time has come to decriminalize it, to take away that criminalization of a consenting act between two adults?
No, I am no one to make a statement on that aspect of the criminalizing or decriminalizing. Primarily because it's a kind of the state bound laws. So the state will have to decide what it is.
From the point you have a view on it.
The church is never church never labels anybody as particular. You are a heterosexual, you are a homosexual, you are a LGBT community. Church never labels. The church, like what Pope Francis said once, that I see all of you as how God sees, as you are a complete person. So the church will never label anybody as such. But then whether it is to be criminalized or decriminalizing, I think church is not an authority to say that. Every state...
I'm sure the church has a view on that. Should people be treated as criminals for their sexual orientation?
As criminal, definitely. Says that, like, I'm a heterosexual. Now I have given up my sexuality to be a priest. The same way, a homosexual decides to give up his sexual inclinations and joins a priesthood or a religious life, the church is most welcome to do that.
So you would welcome the scrapping of 377?
I would not say a statement on that, basically, because I am no one to make a categorical statement on the government policies. Definitely on a spiritual or a moral side of it, the church, from the point of view of church, I would say that a person, whichever sexual inclination that person has got, if he knows what he is and if he wants to restrain himself or want to join it,
so let me put it this way then. Are people of all sexual inclinations welcome into your church?
Yes. We never
including
discriminate
homosexuals?
anybody. Yes, we never discriminate anybody in the church.
That's so refreshing to hear.